Stockholm and Chalmers Institute in Gothenburg. He also studied artificial intelligence, machine learning at MIT, Massachusetts Industry of Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, this is introduction of our panelists today. I would like to remind you that you are also able to submit your questions to the chat. You can make a comments. And after the keynote speech, we will deep dive into the questions. Now, Nikola Maksichuk will provide a keynote speech with the deep dive into the topic today. Nikola, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Ned. Hello, everyone, and hello to my dear panelists. Nice to see you again, guys. Thank you, Ned, for the opportunity to present and to share my knowledge and experience with problems and what we faced actually when we try to implement some of the smart city solutions. I will try now to share my presentation.
Thank you.
Somehow I don't see my PDF.
You should have a fourth button, microphone.
Yep, I do have, but when I click, wait a second, let me just try to reopen it again. Okay. Oh, now I see it. Okay. One sec. Can you see it?
It's coming up.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, excellent. So hello everyone. As Ned introduced me, my name is Nikola Maksimchuk, and I'm the co-founder of CityGecko. We are actually the producers of the smart benches and smart bus station. We are trying to use as much as renewable energy as we can. That's why we have the modules with the solar panels. But that's not the topic. The topic is the challenges of implementing smart infrastructure in the cities. Before I start sharing with you the experience we had, I will try first to just share with you some of the insights that we come across by doing business in the smart cities. So nowadays it is inevitable not to have some kind of smart things in your life, from smart devices, from smartphones, from watches and everything else. And also this is very important for the cities. As for the data that we found and that UN announced is that by 2050, around 6.7 billion people worldwide will live in urban areas, which is actually 68% of the global population. This means that in urban areas, in cities, there will be much more people. It will be very crowded. And you also know nowadays in big cities, we all have problems with the traffic jams. We all have problems with the communication, transportation, and to gain intel or the information, where to go, how to come, whatever, etc. That's why the smart is very important. That's why the IoT devices are very important. And that's why the smart city topics are hot nowadays, which means that in the future and nowadays, but every day more and more cities are gaining and increasing their connectivity. They're actively working to have more and more IoT devices to communicate more between the devices, to communicate more with the people, with the passengers, with the residents, etc. All these things are meant for us to live easily and to have our everyday living much more simple. That's why the different technologies, different devices are needed in order to have the simplicity in living, everyday living. So yeah, the solutions are different, are various solutions. Everything needs to be digitalized. We now have 4G, 5G, 6G is also coming. So everybody is now trying to install fiber optics instead of the copper cables, etc. So we all know the things that other cities are trying to do, trying to achieve in order to have the good infrastructure for the smart cities. But not only the cities, we also see every day that the smart is also influencing a lot in the businesses. From where I come from, our businesses and our companies are every day doing some kind of digitalizations. Is it from the financial programs that they're implementing? Is it from the, I don't know, optimizing of the production? Is it of the, in some other institutions where they have the monitoring of the, I don't know, air pollution, lightnings, etc. So we see also that every day the smart is influencing the businesses as well, in order to make it, to reduce the cost, to reduce the cost of the production, or to increase the effectiveness, or to let's say to boost their profits. So we see not only that in cities, but also in businesses, in companies, people are also struggling. Some of them are struggling. Some of them are very agile. Some of them are very fast to accept the new technologies, and they're coping with it. But these are only the things that will come, that should be. But the real idea is the challenges that everybody is facing. When we started producing our smart city solutions, our smart benches and bus stops, I personally conducted and heard a lot of webinars and seminars and summits about the smart cities. And what I realized is that most of the time people are presenting very highly sophisticated technological solutions that at the end of the day, the cities and the infrastructure are not ready. Their infrastructure are not ready. People are not ready. Of course, they don't possess the financing possibilities to implement such solutions. And at the end of the day, all that is left of was the talking and some promising of the brighter future. For example, as Ned introduced me, I'm coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we also have dozens of successful pilot projects with our solutions, which means that we are had also the same problems, but that we also have the same problems by introducing our solutions and introducing what our actually products will achieve. We also find old infrastructure. We also find outdated electrical installations wherever we came. We also find it underdeveloped infrastructure, not adjusted. Also, the laws are one of the things that are that can be a huge obstacle. If you want to implement something, they didn't manage to adjust the laws according to the new technologies. I have one very good example of it. Also, poor flow of information in the city administrations. That is especially where I come from is a huge problem. So I have two examples of what we faced when we wanted to install the smart city devices and solutions. We won one project with the UNDP, and we wanted to install the first smart bus shelter here. The idea was to have the smart bus shelter that is going to use renewable energy sources that will provide people with the exact timetable of the buses. I mean, this is nothing new in the world, but in Bosnia it was one of the kind. Also, it would provide people with a certain information about what is going on around the bus stop, touristic informator. They can know what is around. They can visit some of the interesting places. And also, the bus stop was meant to be equipped with environmental sensors of pollution, humidity, temperature, and so on. And also, we got the request to put a big LCD screen in order to rent the advertisings on the bus stop. So the whole idea and the whole project will be rentable. What we faced, first problem was how to exchange the old bus stop with a new one with additional feature. Our law didn't recognize bus shelter as the smart one. So in the law and the procedures and all the documentation and permits that we need to get in order to install the bus stop was impossible because there were none. Our law didn't just simply couldn't recognize the smart bus stop. So we had a problem to adapt and to change.
Seems we have lost Nicola.
It seems like he will probably be back very soon. This is so normal for webinars. So Asmat, please keep an eye on Nicola so he can join. Oh, he's right here. I can see him. Okay. Nicola, can you hear us? I can see him on the left-hand side, but
Can we hear each other?
yeah. You back.
This is the perfect example of what I was talking about. I'm talking about smart city, and I'm running out of the power. So in my building, we don't have power right now. So I use the internet of I'm sharing the internet from my phone. So this is the exact thing that I was talking. I don't know what was the last thing you hear.
You were talking about the bus stops and the one of the kind.
Okay. Can you please allow me again to share my presentation?
Yeah, please.
I don't have the button.
Okay. Now you do.
Yep.
And if we can wrap up in the next maybe 2 minutes, please, so we
Sure.
can...
Sorry. Yep. Sure thing. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
So as I said, the problems also were, for example, with the bus stop, there was a lot of problems with the regulation. Our law didn't actually recognize how to implement and how to install the smart bus stop in comparison to the old one. So we had to change the laws, and it took time. Also, there was another problem. We had a business case with our benches. We used the benches also as a way of branding it and as a way of renting the benches in marketing purposes. And since we here in my hometown, Banja Luka, we had a law from 1968 which says that all the furniture, city furniture, must not be branded. And also we had those kind of problems that we actually had to change and had to adapt. So all these things from people, from infrastructure, from law legislations are very slow, are very expensive, and sometimes people just stop wasting their time on something that is much bigger than these things. So in order to overcome them, the smart city solutions should actually understand what the city needs and try to be modular and adaptable solutions. Not only to say, okay, we are providing you with the flying cars, and we're providing you with something, but look, you have to invest hundreds of millions of euros in order to have these solutions. So I think in order to have the smart city solutions in your town, you need to have the good team. You need to understanding of the location, of the culture, of the law. Have to have the very good team that will implement, and you need to have modular solutions that you would go step by step in resolving it. So this is how we did it. We installed a simple bus stop, then we upgraded to the smart one, then we upgraded with a big LCD screen, and now we have the full operational bus stop. So we did step by step. It took time. It took, of course, money, but with a lot of patience that we had and with a lot of effort to educate the locals and to educate our institution, they somehow accepted it. And now as I'm speaking, after this, I'm going to see and going to visit 10 more locations. And my hometown actually are installing 36 other bus stops in the city. And now in next year they would cover whole city with our bus stop solution, and they will have, for the first time in history of Banja Luka, they would have a public transportation like in the Europe and in Vienna where I studied. So as I said, and the first bus stop we installed 2.5 years ago. So it takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of energy, and eventually it will pay off. What lies next? Yeah, different solutions possibly that will come, and all of our solutions that we are offering, they are open, they are easily interconnected, and they can easily be connected to other solutions. As I said, we are also by doing this project, we collaborated with other companies that are also has other smart city solutions. We collaborate also with the universities that helped us in some way. So as I said, my closing word would be, patience and to educate the locals as much as possible, to show them the bigger picture, and of course to collaborate with other companies, because I think that together we are stronger. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to write that.
Thank you so much, Nikola. Thank you so much for interesting and experience-based keynote speech. We will now deep dive into the questions. So good morning again. I want to remind you, you can send your question to the public chat. So first question goes to the Greg. We are, by looking the best or most developed smart cities in the world, Europe is lagging behind. And why is taking us so long to catch up on smart city in Europe and around the world as well?
Thanks, Ned, and good morning, everyone. I think Nikola already touched on two very important items, which is basically education or awareness of the decision makers when implementing smart solutions, and the laws that go along with it. Obviously, developments in technology have moved along quite fast compared to changes in legislation. So you encounter a lot of these delays. And what I see as well is that many cities, probably because of these factors, don't actively incentivize innovation or don't actively facilitate the introduction of new technologies. I mean, it's okay to leave new developments to the market players, but if you want to see improvements and advancements within the city and within government services, then municipalities have to take some responsibility or show some initiative in being more active participants. So there are different ways for a city to be more active in all these different developments, be a motivator or a catalyst without interfering with the market and without increasing city budgets. For example, by providing clear rules and creating the right laws to adapt to the new developments. And smoother processes for implementation of new technologies by different vendors, different providers, which then also will, and they should also facilitate the efficient use of existing infrastructure. And this can also include, for example, co-financing of pilot projects with new technologies, enabling contacts between technology providers and technology users, and exploring possibilities for using the technology to improve the government services, which in the end, I think as a whole, the government services are also a very important part of all the smart city initiatives that are being developed worldwide.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much. Bengt, welcome to the webinar. Question for you: what kind of financial benefits business community and cities as well achieved from getting into smart city solutions? Because the city fathers will always ask, what is a return on investment? How we can measure that?
Thank you, Ned. Good morning, everyone. The two concepts are, as I know, everybody know that it's very expensive with the electricity, and the pricing is rising up in whole Europe, especially in Germany and the UK. So what you can do, what smart city solution can do with the financial one is that we can measure all electricity with IoT and a gas consumption. And we can do that with 10,000 points the whole city, and also in the city center with a public lamp and so on. And that's the multiplicity in the city, and also enterprises in the city will gain a lot of money because they can measure every product and every house and how much they consume in gas and electricity. There's a lot of money to save there. In other in other area is also the cleaning. For example, we in the supermarket, public areas, the sanity measurement you can use for that with IoT, and then people feeling welcome into the city, in the supermarket, and they will buy more. We have example in Sweden, which is increasing rapidly with the this kind of IT solution with that toilet and all the sanity area. The other thing is we have also a mesh network, and every enterprises in the city can have own internet connectivity, free internet connectivity to the supermarket, shopping, and we have example in Sweden that one supermarket has increasing the selling of 8%, raising up with this call it scan and pay solution, and then it's quite easily to use it. The very first step how to do it, and then easy to go in and out in the supermarket, and then you can do that every time. You don't need any personal connection with any people. You're free to go in the supermarket, and the people feel free to shopping, and it's very successful here. There's a lot of money to earn, and supermarket have earned raising up 80% of the selling. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. Nicola, back to you. You already mentioned some of the examples from your own company in terms of current challenges of implementation of smart infrastructure. I think we can develop that a little bit more and add a little bit more to that in terms of what are the other challenges that you see as a smart city expert and professional. You are actually living smart city every day. So what other challenges are there for implementation of smart infrastructure?
Thank you, Ned. Very good question. As I said, and Gregory also repeated, the challenges are the educational thing that people still, when we always need to start from ourselves. So needs to realize and to see what the smart is, how the smart can help them, and how to implement them. When you overcome something that needs time and patience, then you come across the situation that is actually on the field, meaning that you have the problem with old installations, you have problems with old cablings, you have problems with the old infrastructure that is there, and that, of course, that makes sense that 100 years ago, 50 years ago, people didn't know what the future will bring, so they installed and did everything as per the present time. So what I saw every day is that more and more problems people are facing with how to make it possible from the installation point of view, how to make possible everything, in order to set up the city, to be able to come and install some of the solutions. But overcoming these, I see every day new solutions that does not provide much of the reconstruction of the current infrastructure of the cities. Meaning that, for For example, I think in Barcelona, they have the pilot projects where they installed a lot of sensors, many different sensors, and then testing what they are needing it. Does it make sense? That doesn't make sense, etc. But they don't have any additional infrastructural installations. So, well, as I said, biggest challenge are the people. When you overcome the people, then you have second challenge is the infrastructure. But I think that in future, all these things will be overcome with the new solutions, with adaptable solution and modern ones.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you so much. Greg, back to you. I think we can all agree there is three parts in smart cities. There's decision makers, which means city politicians. There's a solution providers, and there's a citizens. So all three of you, with the perspective of being and doing business in smart cities, the question is, and might be a question for all of you, what business community can do and to contribute to accelerate the implementation of smart city?
Well, I think from my side and experience, I think one of the key points is collaboration. Nicola also mentioned it earlier. We don't only need collaboration between the cities and technology providers. Of course, that is key to start the projects, but also between technology providers themselves. So by combining different technologies together, we can allow different vendors, for example, to show their products and services, and also allow end users to experience the benefits. This is important because decision makers don't immediately see or imagine the benefits of having smart city infrastructure available. There's a lot of talk, for example, when discussing 5G. What are the business cases? What can they actually do? And the best way to find out is to actually have such systems in place and being able to either implement solutions that are based on or that require these connectivities, or because of the availability, also you have more innovation because their new ideas are created because of the technology being available. So as long as we're not doing this, then it means that cities and businesses and residents are missing out on a lot of opportunities and benefits for better services and eventually for a better quality of life in the cities.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have a comment from your side? Nicola, Bengt? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I want to highlight the services what Gregory mentioned, that people who are using combine a service with, for example, Iot Mesh Network, then they can log into the system and they can log on to the enterprises platform, and they can also the enterprise can marketing the product to what is the best offer for this week, example. And that's a question, because people get the right information, what is the right price, because the inflation in Europe is rising today, and also enterprise can get out a quick product on the market and can see. Then people can see what is the beneficial from marketing and also from enterprise by themselves. I will point out the service as such, and then we can use both mesh and Iot technology to reach that level of financial growing and also service growing in that part. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We already have 2 questions in the chat. If you have a time to take a look, thank you so much. Bengt, a question for you, and I'm very sure that all 3 of you hear this question very, very often. Let's say a high hypothetically mid-size of the city wants to become smart city. And decision makers or politicians will say, hey, how quickly we can roll out into this? We have the money, we have a budget, but how quickly we can implement these solutions, infrastructure to become smart?
for example, a medium-sized city, we talk about the city will be about 1,000 people who living or above. Preferable is about 10,000 people in the city. And the rollout of the technology can be quite quickly because we're using non-cabling solution. The platform is located in Europe. You can be connected directly to radio connectivity. It can be from 2G to 5G and another Sigfox LoRaWAN connectivity. It's not need any kind of cabling anyway. The position of the devices can be also easily doing, and we can put up about 10,000 devices quite quickly and connect them because we can roll out or connect all the devices directly to the platform by using a special program to connect all of them in one row. It takes a couple of minutes to do that. And the position of the device can also be quickly done. It's not a big issue. It's more connected to what kind of technology you want to use. Radio connected right 2G, 5G, or other like Sigfox or LoRaWAN, depending on that situation. You talk about the mesh network, we call it that can also be quickly roll out. It's not cabling as well. So then we can talk about how complex this network is. If we want to have for 10,000 or more, depending of the size of the network that we want to build. But it talks not about the 6 or 7 or 8 months. You can roll out less than 1 month, actually. Yeah, thank you.
So much. Yeah, thank you so much. We mentioned so many challenges, Nicola, and one of the answers is work on a people awareness, collaboration. Is there anything else we can do to overcome these challenges?
Well, yes, as you asked the bank, prepare the money. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, also what I said also, so train the people, explain them what you can do, show them what they need, understand the needs of the city, know better their culture, etc. But what I personally faced are also these law legislations that slow the whole process down. And exchanging these things, especially in the countries where bureaucracy is very bad, is really the challenge. So you come, for example, we came to the situation, we found the money project, we had the people that wanted to help, the officials from the institution, we had the product, we have everything, but the law said you cannot do it. Then see how you can change the law, see how you can not change the law, but just adapt it. Go with the time. And it takes time. It takes all the nerves, the energy, and everything else. But I said, we did it. And if you have the people on the other side who are ready to support, who are ready to help, it will make happen, but it takes time. So yeah, how to overcome it? Just be patient and be persistent, be stubborn, and eventually you will make it.
Thank you, Greg. As you did so many implementations in smart cities, would you like please to explain to our audience, for those, including myself, that they never had to implement these solutions to the smart city, how does such a project look like? Can you break it down, or example of the city and collaboration between different entities and everything?
As Nicola mentioned, these processes take a very long time, and maybe the best way to illustrate it especially looking into how we can accelerate that ourselves more from a, let's say, from a business perspective. Keeping in mind that municipalities are not always the ones who are initiating such processes. I'm going to give an example of a project we're currently developing. So we're currently working on working to launch a project in the city of Apeldoorn in the Netherlands, which is aimed for the first half of 2023, using regulated wireless mesh network technology. This regulated network is based on microcell technology, and it will cost the fraction of what you would normally need for example, installing fiber or building a full mobile network in a city. And it's an open access network built with to be interoperable, so with interoperability and allowing different use of different devices, different equipment in the network. And so the project will consist of a collaboration between Regulate, which is providing the network based on a software-defined telecommunication network infrastructure, and which also has integrated edge computing, which gives a lot of more possibilities. And the second partner will be X Ventures, which happens to be a company that is managed by banks, which will provide the platform. So you then have a network with all the connectivity, all the different functionalities available. You have an IoT platform that can provide and manage more than 2,000 business cases for different types of IoT applications and dashboards. And as a third part in the group, we are contacting with different participating vendors of IoT equipment, so sensors with IP, service providers, and application builders. And so we are inviting as many IoT companies and IP service providers as possible to participate. And this will be a great opportunity for vendors to showcase their solutions and products and services in a real city. So it's a live environment where you have live situation, real live situations, and both businesses and residents can then experience how this network, how it works. And any company can participate in this project. And the idea is to have this project for establish a collaboration of 3 years, which will include the connectivity, the platform, and also support for international marketing of the different solutions. So it's not only to accelerate not only in Apeldoorn in one city or in the Netherlands, but also, let's say, for the whole of Europe and in other areas. Our idea is to also market and showcase this collaborative solution of products and services worldwide. And this project will deliver first-hand learnings for both the customer experience and the benefits for smart cities. So we see this as a let's say a very large use case for different cities. And also thinking about the different products that Nicola's company, the CityGecko, has. I believe there's also a nice opportunity to work together there, also in the Netherlands, and start expanding all these new possibilities that we can offer together.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much. We have more questions in the chat. If you have a moment to answer, Bengt. We hear this terminology, and most of us knows what that means, IoT Mesh Network. So there's a different networks in smart city. So can they work together? Can they collaborate? Can they work together without interference?
Thank you, Ned. Thank you, Gregor, for your explaining the Apeldoorn project. Yes, all its devices, about more than 2,000 devices on the market, and all of them is mostly of them I know It's about licensed and approved by Sigfox, LoRaWAN, 2G to 5G certification organization, and they should and they to go through the very hard testing in this for this certification. So interference between them should not have any impact, as according to mainly the testing showing. And for our Apple project, we will combine all these IoT manufacturers. We will have different kind of setups, different kind of branding, and IoT companies or manufacturing companies can measure all these devices and how they're working, how well they're working together with other IoT devices. And they can take the data and improve the devices if they find something that can be interference in the testing. And that's the whole idea with the Apple project, that then you can testing the IoT devices in real environment, real city environment, and how they're working together. And then of course they have no big interference, should not have interference at all, but they can measure the data and see how good the data when it comes to the detail of the IoT devices as such. And that's important. The Apple project is for IoT manufacturers to gain the data in real environment, in real city, smart city solution environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much. Nicola, what do you think personally about collaboration between private entities like your, Greg's, and Banked, and any other smart city solution provider with academia?
Well, I think it can be very helpful. I think it is what the academia is there for. We have also one successful story on this project with the bus stop. We didn't have the solution for tracking the buses and to have the digital timetable to know exactly when the bus will come. So we went to the Faculty of Electrical Engineering and we said, okay, guys, we have these projects. Do you have any of things you've done so far? And they were very happy that we approached them. They already had some kind of solution that they were working on, their students, etc. So we collaborated together on this project and we ended it successfully. The thing is, as I said, of course, the most commercial way is to collaborate with other companies, with other, I would say, profit organizations. But it can be very useful and it can be very helpful to also collaborate with academia, especially the faculties and universities that are doing and researching these smart city things, these technologies, etc. Because when we with our project, we actually get to know what actually they're doing, what they researched, how far did they come, and we realized, wow, we didn't even know that in our city, in our faculty, in university, there are so many answers to our questions. So this is something I think that needs to be promoted. That I mean, I'm also explaining the story from where I come from. I know, and hopefully in other countries this is on a much bigger level. But here, the universities are really craving and begging the companies to do some kind of together projects. And I think this can be very, very nicely done and it could be a win-win situations for everybody.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you very much. Bengt, you mentioned Appledorn project, and as far as I know, Gregory was also into that. So, Greg, can you please tell us a little bit more about that and what benefit will project have for city and community of Appledorn?
Yeah, thanks. Well, in addition to the different and multiple services and applications that it will enable, because the technology that's being used in Appledorn is what you call a multi-protocol network technology. This is one of the reasons why we can work with different vendors and different types of suppliers of IoT, because it has a very broad range of frequencies that can be used. So the network tends to adapt to the equipment rather than the equipment having to adapt to the network. And this is also, I think, the direction of the future, where there'll be solutions will be more demand driven rather than supply driven, as they are now by the traditional telecommunication solutions. And some of the benefits of this are, let's say, new functionalities, new innovation, new development of services of different types of vendors, all working together in let's say, in the same infrastructure, or as part of the same infrastructure, and also being better interconnected. But some of the benefits for the city and the community will be also that the city will have let's say, an additional network next to, let's say, the mobile networks, which is based on a total different technology, which will create more competition within a city or within an area or even a whole country. This is always better, because that means you get sharper pricing, more better services, and more options, more technology developments. Secondly, because you will have another, let's say, an additional network in the area, which is also based on a different technology, it also creates a redundancy in the city of communication infrastructure. So in the event that one infrastructure is not able to function, for example, because of a malfunction or cybersecurity breach or any of these, you have another network that is still able to perform the services, so the city remains connected. And in the case of the radio LED technology itself, it can also be implemented with solar energy power supply, which would ensure network operation and mobile communication services, even in the event of a shortage of energy or a blackout because of issues with fuel provision. I believe I've seen some articles of this in social media lately, that this is a concern, let's say, for Europe, especially with the ongoing situation between Russia and Ukraine. So having a redundancy in your network infrastructure, which means not only mobile and fiber, but, for example, also this mesh network technology is a plus for a city. And in these days, it's also not really a luxury of having it. So it's something that actually it's something good to think about. And as I mentioned earlier, the costs for building this technology is also a fraction of what the traditional communication technology infrastructure costs. I mean, I'm talking about a reduction of between 50 to 80% of the costs, and I mean, that's huge. That is, for a city, having to manage budgets, or even a federal government, that's a very big benefit. In addition to the, let's say, the expanded technology benefits it can bring because of the advanced uses of the technology.
Bengt, you want to add something?
I would add what Nicola said, and also Gregory, combining with academia. We have recently, some days ago, connected to the German university, and they want to take a part of the Appledon technology, because they don't have so much knowledge about the mesh and IoT and how they can collaborate, and what it can be beneficial, and how to gain more information, and how the system can work in a city, for example, and also in the big cities, and how network can be expanded. And this is a new area for academia, and also for other people who are not using this kind of combination. And therefore, the project in Apple is very important, because I think it's the only solution or network who have this kind of combination. And I think there's a lot of things to learn over this project, and the business wise, and also the learning curve from the student in the world, for example, in Germany and Europe, and we have very big interest in Africa also about the kind of combination. Thank you.
Thank you, Bengt. Thank you so much. So looking at the time, we only have, unfortunately, less than 3 minutes. I believe this is all questions we will have time for today. There was some fantastic questions that left behind. Please keep in touch. There's lots of questions. Get connected via LinkedIn, get connected via EU Tech. I want to express my appreciation by saying thank you. Thank you, first of all, to our audience for dedicating your time and joining our session today. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Bengt and Gregory, for your participation and great insight. And at this stage, I would like to take a chance to hand a little thank you over to our panelists. So in name of Technology Chamber, in collaboration with Climate Action Partnership, EU Tech Climate Action Partnership, EU Tech will confirms that the tree for Bengt Olsen, for Nicola, and for Gregory will be planted in Africa. So this is our small but I think important contribution to climate action partnership in Africa. In the name of Technology Chamber, thank you for your time. Thank you again for joining us today. And we are looking forward to see you on our next event, which is November 8th, with the topic Inclusion, Rights, and Ethics at the Core of Digital Transition. I think it's going to be a great topic, and I'm hoping I'm going to see you there. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And remember, technology obliges. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.